Our next story is a unique look at the history of the Underground Railroad in our area. I had the chance to travel out to the Bloomfield, Montclair area, Essex County in New Jersey, and visit a restaurant with a link to the Revolutionary War and journey toward freedom. So this is it.
Yes, it is.
Wow. In the basement of the Bloomfield Steak and Seafood House, it goes all the way back. Look how low it is. There is something truly remarkable. This is, obviously one of the original beams and the original flooring. You guys haven't really touched any of that stuff.
Yeah, no.
Deep in the cellar here, a link to the roots of American history.
We have our Underground Railroad, and it was a means for escape during British invasion. Our building is from 1676.
Nicole Farrell and her family bought the restaurant in Essex County, New Jersey back in 2008.
One of the oldest buildings, I believe, in this area. And we just love it so much.
The building, originally known as the Davis House, is nearly 350 years old. There's a lot of history in here.
Yes, tons of history.
They've always shared the secrets of the basement with customers here at the restaurant in Bloomfield, but never publicly like this before.
We know that this was a safe space for people to come, to escape, to get away from oppression on all different levels.
The old logs are still here. The old Joseph Davis house was first built back in 1676. This basement connected to a tunnel and was used to transport women and children during the Revolutionary War. A century later, it was a part of the Underground Railroad. Safe spaces like this in several different locations in the Montclair and Bloomfield area.
The whole Underground Railroad, that movement, and the people that focused on helping other people be free, helping enslaved people be free, it's important, and that story isn't told, and it needs to be told.
These were black people, these were white people, they were all working together for the cause of freedom.
Historian Frank Gerard Godlewski and Janice Cross Gilliard, president of the African American Historical and Genealogical Society of New Jersey, are on a mission.
If you look at the local history, you'll be surprised or amazed at what you might find.
Most people are familiar with the story of the Underground Railroad, not an actual railway, but a route linking slave states in the South to free states up north, using abolitionist homes, churches, and other properties.
A lot of information about the Underground Railroad is undocumented, and it has to find its place in American history.
New Jersey was often a final stop on the trek toward freedom, but a dangerous one, as it was the last northern state to abolish slavery.
They had these very amazingly intelligent ways of having signals and lights and candles in windows and lights on boats.
Frank says North Jersey held a critical link in the chain, including that Revolutionary War-age tunnel stretching from the home of the first freed slave in nearby Montclair, the James Howe House, all the way to the Bloomfield Steakhouse, more than a mile underground.
From here, you'd go to the Morris Canal, and that was another part of the freedom route that would take you to Newark, Jersey City, and then once you crossed the Hudson, you were free.
Frank and Janice are working to better publicize and preserve stories like this, writing a report for the New Jersey Department of Environmental Protection.
I refer to it as hidden history in your own backyard.
Which brings us back inside that tunnel, a hidden link to both America's flaws and its triumphs.
Just putting yourself in that space of what it must have been like to have to crawl through this area and hope for something better on the other side, you know? It's pretty amazing.
Just a remarkable story. I grew up in that area. I'd never sort of heard that story, and when we started to learn about it...
It is remarkable.
The history of that steakhouse runs deep as well. In the Revolutionary War days, General George Washington, you know him, he's said to have stopped there on his way to Morristown, and he stayed for dinner and entertainment. I got pretty good food in there as well.
And you got to try it.
Yeah, I didn't try. Well, you know what?
It's an incredible story, especially the history there. That's very awesome. Dan, thanks so much for bringing us and sharing this with us.